Yes,
preacher,
Father.
Father Alexander Kurikatil is already present, and I am very happy to welcome him. You know, Father Alexander Kurikatil belongs to the Claretian congregation, CMF, and we studied in the same seminary. He was senior to me, and you know, he was my guru in what? In yoga. He may not be remembering that, he was my yoga teacher in the seminary. And he was with us in the first prison pilgrimage in 1986. And that was the beginning of his prison ministry life. And that led him to new revolutions in his life and in our ministry. His great contribution to prison ministry, am I audible? Am I audible? His great contribution to prison ministry is that he, doing the prison ministry in Kerala, advanced to higher levels of ministry. That means he launched ministry in redeeming hired killers. That was the great contribution of Father Alexander to prison ministry. We launched recently we launched TSS, Terrorist Saving Squad, or DRC, Death Row Commandos, or Anti-Human Trafficking Brigadiers. But maybe in the beginning of the 90s, he launched a mission for the transformation of the hired killers. And in 1992, after my service ministry in the KCBC as the assistant director of Jesus Fraternity, I handed over this lamb to Father Alexander, and I went for higher studies. And it was Alexander who took from me the lamb and brightened that lamb and spread the rice to many more places. In between, he was also rector of their seminary in Wardha, Ashta, I think, and also in the formation houses of Claretian Seminary. And at present, he is in charge of this prison ministry in India. From this family, there emerged so many new ministries. For example, now Father Alexander Kurikatil is in charge of a home called Moria Renewal Center, I think, for the mental patients and drug addicts. From our group, many of the members of the first prayer group launched many new ministries like Penuel Ministry or FBA. Yesterday I mentioned about FBA, Friends of the Birds of the Air, for the beggars and for mental patients, and to different groups, street children and so on. So I first of all highly appreciate Father Alexander. You know what for? He continues the ministry all throughout his life. Not for the years he was appointed by the KCBC, but his whole life is dedicated for this ministry. And I welcome Father Alexander to this group of online retreat. I asked him to share his own personal experiences, a lot of personal experiences that will really enrich and enlighten us. Welcome, Father Alexander.
First of all, I am thankful to Father Korean, who had given me this opportunity to spend few time with my dear friends all over India who are actively involved in the prison ministry India, who are undergoing a retreat. And I wondered what made Father Korean to give me this opportunity. And I still wonder, and I don't know what made him to invite me for this mission. Anyhow, I take it as a great opportunity and God's plan so that I can also share what I have learned and experienced as a fellow Prison Ministry India collaborator. So I start from when I go back to my first entry to prison ministry, it was a letter from Trivandrum Pujapura Central Jail in the year 1986. A prisoner named Philip George wrote a letter telling, "Father, I am thirsty. I like to drink more. I trust in God," quoting John 7:37. What made him to write this letter is I was the occasion promoter of the Claretian congregation at that time. That was my first appointment as a young priest. I was going around different schools and colleges inviting young ones to join the congregation. I had given an advertisement in one of the weekly named Divanalam from Palai. And this address or this particular magazine was distributed in Pujapura Central Jail, and this particular person got my address and he had written, "Father, I am a prisoner. I would like to know more about the meaning, why I am here inside the prison." Then I quoted Jeremiah 29:11. "Philip, the Lord has got a clear plan about you, not for your perish, but for your goodness." That letter he had given to different persons in the jail, and I got so many letters from the central prison. It was in the year 1986. By accident, I don't know what made him to go to the Vadavadur seminary in the particular year. Then I came to know that brothers are going to the jail. That was interesting for me. And they told, "Father, we are going to the prison in Kerala." In those days, there were 44 prisons in Kerala. Then I told, "I have got some letter contact with the prisoners in Pujapura," and they told, "You come and join." I still remember the day I met the prison fraternity or Jesus fraternity brothers, traveling from Kasaragod to Pujapura, Trivandrum, traveling by bus, carrying all the musical instruments. And I met them in Koilandi. In front of the prison, all those 15 young seminarians came and embraced. I told, "Father, this is a wonderful experience." Then my first entry to Koilandi sub-jail. When I looked at the eyes of the prisoners through the iron bar, I told the superintendent, "They are not mental patients. They are not lunatic persons or bitten by stray dogs, property." And it is very hard me to look at the eyes of the persons through the cell, through the iron bar. And I asked the superintendent, he was so generous to put all of them together at the veranda, and we had given our program, musical program, the message, and we looked at the eyes of each prisoner, and we could see the tears, and they have got a small handkerchief or a small cloth to cover their body, and they were wiping their tears. That was my first entry to the prison ministry in Kerala. Then we started our journey. I need not narrate the whole thing. So that was my first entry. Later on, another event took place in my life. I was in Wardha as the rector. One day I went without any reservation to the railway station. The train was missing. Then I don't know where to go. I don't know where is POC. Somewhere or other I heard about POC and went to POC, and Father Kodian was there. And he told, "Father, come and join with us with this ministry." And he told me there is an opportunity to work among the prisoners. Then I went back to Wardha and told my superiors, and I have got the first appointment as the assistant director in POC in the year 92. So from that time onwards, I was able to go to the prisons all over Kerala, and I could see the human beings locked in. First time I have got the awareness that only human beings are keeping fellow beings under the bar or the cage. When a human being is hungry, he must go and beg another human being. Whereas a bird or a tiger or a wild animal doesn't need to go to any fellow beings. So only human beings are helpless and they are being locked in. That's all with regarding my entry to the prison. Now, from the prison experience, while I was standing at POC, while I was going different prisons, one person all on a sudden came at the morning in POC and shake my hand and introduced himself telling, I am Killer Jamie, as if he is a government officer like a bard, young man, good looking. And I asked, what is your work? And he told, I am Killer Jamie. Again, he was repeating as if he is doing some good thing. And I took him to the POC chapel, took the POC Bible, and about 1 hour I spent with him, praying, sharing, and I told, don't do this dirty business hereafter. But the same day, his own fellow companions asked him, Pani Ondada, that means they use the word Pani, that means the work, quotation. And the same second day at night, at 3 o'clock, I received a phone call. Father, Killer Jamie, whom you met this day, or was very badly stabbed and in Panangad nearby. And then his wife, Pushpi, was there. And she somehow or other managed to take him to Whitela Hospital, St. Joseph's Hospital. Now it is known as Wellcare Hospital. And from that time onwards, I was chasing this man, spent about 25,000 rupees in those days. And then he was taking me to different killers, different hired gangs from place to place. On certain days, I used to write a letter, keeping at POC in my table. I am going after this particular killer. And I still remember one person whom he took me to a very famous, notorious criminal that time. He was not there. His wife was there. Children was there. And we just behind this TV, there was a long sword. And I asked Usha, his wife, what is it meant for? Father, my husband may not be there always, no. And the children told me, Father, when my father is back from this dirty business of taking quotations, then they will pretend as if they are sleeping. But the husband and wife will be sharing their hard experience of taking different quotations and killing people for money. That way he has taken me to different places, different persons. And it was really a hard time for me. But at that time, somewhere or other, if I come in touch with a prisoner or a thief or a killer, I must chase him day and night without any time factor or money factor, wherever they are. And after 1.5 years, one policeman came to POC asking, where is Father Alexander Kurikatil? Father Karil, the present Bishop of Cochin, was the director. And Bishop told me, Father, there is policeman asking, where are you? Where is Father Alexander Kurikatil? And then I told him, Father Alexander Kurikatil. And he told, what is your relationship with the Killer Jamie? I told, I am a Catholic priest. I have got all the possible relationships that is possible with the killer. And then he asked whether you have any recent photos of the Killer Jamie. And I told that is none of my business to give his photos, because that is not expected from me, because we need a full confidence of these killers or hired gundas, then only we can enter into their area. And they left. The first person had taken a quotation, Killer JV, without my knowledge, and he killed one person, and that quotation person was not the right person whom he killed. Quotation means when they get a quotation, they will ask 4 questions. Irutano means in Malayalam whether that person should be lifelong sitting. Nadatano means he will walk but with limping. Then Kadatano means will be lifelong lying down. Orkano means death. So only after taking this quotation, they may have to pay only half of the amount, and then this person killed a person, and he was at that time Behra, the present top of the policemen in Kerala, at present was the commissioner at that time. Anyhow, he was far away in a hilly place working, and he was caught, brought back to Ernakulam sub-jail. And again, I got the information, Killer JV was caught and he is in the prison. Then I was thinking, shall I go after him? On the way, I thought, yes, I had a different attitude towards Killer JV, who cheated me, who killed me, the 8th person who he is responsible for the killing. Then I thought, if I go after him, I must love the love with which Jesus loved. I must forgive him with the forgiveness with which Jesus had forgiven. And only with that love and with that forgiveness, I can go after him. I went to Ernakulam sub-jail, asked the superintendent, I want to see Killer JV. And I have got the time with him, and he was crying. And again, about 12 years, he was in the prison, and later on he was released. I met his wife and 2 kids in Ernakulam. I told, Father, please allow us to live with my children. It was the cry of Pushpi, because he had a very good quotation, about the 1.5 crore rupees quotation to kill a person. And I took him. That was executed by another group, and that was a very, very notorious case in Kerala. And he would have been the victim of this killing. And I took him to Trivandrum for 6 years, and he was there in Trivandrum for 6 years. I was appointed as Bishop Asti there in Trivandrum, working among the coastal areas and so on. So that's all my encounter with this particular person, Killer JV. Why I narrate this story of Killer JV? Because that was an entry for me to the killers. And I realized that Veerappan is innocent, not innocent, is simple. Saddam Hussein is also simple. And Killer JV is also simple. Why? A priest or a nun, if we go and just catch hold of the hand of a hardcore criminals, I realize that we can see the tears. And what made them to hardcore criminals? It is the life situation and the hardship they had undergone in during their lifetime that made these sort of hard criminals and prisoners. And I still remember so many things are there to narrate with my friends. But at the time of this prison ministry among the killers and prisoners ministry, there was also a hard time for me. Why? Because we have a rehabilitation center. That means those who are released from the Trichur rehabilitation center, they were opportunity in Ernakulam, and they were taken to Ernakulam, Shanti Bhavan. It is called, about 6 cents of land and a small higher building. About 12 prisoners, ex-prisoners, or who had their training in Trichur, were put together. Can you imagine, in a town where so many people are living together, these people are being brought together, and such a house where all the notorious criminals are being kept, having their prayer. Once they go for work, they can return, having their meals together. And I still remember one day, like Sunday, we had a special meal. All these 12 of them were lying down, keeping the food inside. What they have prepared. Sunday they have got a special meal, and they were waiting till 2:30 p.m. so that we may come and join with them for the lunch. All of them were just lying down, eating the food at the center. And that way, these people, especially the prisoners, had a love. And now, one after another, these people were settled in marital life. First marriage was in POC. Bishop Francis Kalarkal was a celebrant. Yeah, about 200 people were there for this. Woman caught in adultery. Woman caught in adultery. He was upset, and I told, go and pray and come back again. And he came. The wife, Lord had purified me and given me. And the marriage was blessed, and they live a normal, happy life now. Another occasion, 5 of these inmates were brought together for the marriage. All of them were prepared, and it was in St. Xavier's Church, Tammanam. The marriage was also conducted. All of them, 5 of them, one was Hindu, another one, Shaji and Sugara, was Muslim. They were taken to their church or their masjid, and was Hindu at the temple, and 3 Christians were brought together in the church for the marriage function. Function was over. Now where to sleep? First night, 4 of them have got a place, hired houses. We will go after another, different persons. Can you give that back room for as a rent? And all the 4 of them have got the house. 5th one didn't get the place to have the first night. Just imagine the agony. Anyhow, by about 7 o'clock p.m., they have got their house. Myself and my brother, Regent, now Father Benny Karapel, we both of them brought 5 packets of food and went each house at about 10 o'clock at night with the rain, heavy rain, with a motorbike, and given the food for each family and returned home, stretching my hand, prayed the full rosary. What was the intention? Let this fast night be a good night for these people. What made a Catholic priest to pray with the pain? You know the reason. All of them had their own criminal background. The ladies whom they married are also were inmates of Snehasram or Trivandrum. They also had the same background. Each story I need not narrate, but they had a normal life altogether. About 25 families are settled in marital life with the work of present ministry India or Jesus Fraternity in Kerala. But there were also hard time for me. I remember the year 2000, January 2nd. Certain days, all these prisoners, they married people and unmarried started fighting each other. They started vigil fight at 2 o'clock daytime. They started fighting. I cannot invite the policemen, please come and help me, because I was challenging the police department, telling these people get a new life, they will get transformed. They were telling, no, Father, a criminal will never transform. That was their theory, whereas our theory was they will be transformed if we love with the love of Jesus. Then they started fighting at night at 7 o'clock. Somewhere or other made me to think, go to the center. And all these 4 persons were carrying stones covered with some cloth so that when they hit, they will not get wounded. I just went personally and thrown the whole stone far away. And then they were taken till 2 o'clock at night in front of the POC, that bypass. Starting from 2 o'clock daytime till 2 o'clock night, I was just carrying these 4 of them together. Why? They were want to go and hit or fight or destroy the sender people, because they fight with their unmarried, these people unmarried. Then at night, 2 o'clock, I just knelt down at the public road and pleaded, please go home. And I took them one after another to their own homes and settled. And there are also certain days I feel that the third world war may come and destroy everything. What made me to think like that was all those people whom we have saved, they get money from us, they get drunk, they come. At 2000, January 2nd, night, 3 of them. Thomas was carrying a hammer, then Rajkumar, and another one name I don't remember. All them came and entered. I was out. When I came in, these 3 persons were there inside the room, our center in one Patripalam. Then they told, looking straight at me, we will kill you. I could not face that moment. The person whom we had the Holy Eucharist together, Sunday meals, morning we are having it together, and Thomas was carrying the weapon. Straight away looking at my face, he told me, we will kill you, because they got drunk. And I told them to quit the place, that was it. Then I just turned, looking at their eyes, I just turned back. And somewhere or other I could get out of the room and run till Kalamseri police station with a loud cry. I don't know. Cry in the sense of a person when he is going to have his last moment in life, you can imagine the cry. I cried and I went to Kalamseri police station, and the policemen asked what happened, Father. I told this is the situation, and they came, and Rajkumar later on asked me, told me, Father, we are happy that you run. Their plan was not that good. Anyhow, but why I tell this? This hard. It is difficult, but at the same time, unless we take this risk, who is there to get involved in this kind of mission or ministry? And this is with regarding the prisoners, and there are also joyful moments, also hard moments. And I still remember the way I chased one person in Calicut town. After visiting Kannur Central Jail, I reached Calicut Rail bus stand, and in those days I was afraid to enter into any lodge to sleep, because I thought it is not a place for us to go and sleep. Just brought a newspaper there at the bus stand, then I started sleeping. I could get a good sleep. And all of a sudden, he asked, Father, are you a priest? Yes, I am. Who are you? I am Professor Matthew. Professor Matthew. Yeah, what happened, sir? Oh, I lost my bag. Okay, well and good. We will go and report to the police there in the police checkpoint. Then he told, Father, excuse me, this is the way I live. And I asked, where are you living? I am living at about 1 kilometer away in a bar hotel, 3rd floor, room number also he told. I chased him. I went to the bar hotel at night in Calicut at 3 o'clock. Asked him, you take your bag. Took him back. When I reached Trichur, another person came and just catch hold of him and told him, please give me my money, because he looks like a professor. Very good, handsome. Whom he asked, immediately they will provide a minimum 500 or 5,000 rupees. And he was taken to our center in Trichur, Snehasramam, and he spent about 2 months, and again he left. Again, Ernakulam, same day at night. I used to travel by night, no, 2 different persons. Again, Vargiseta, come back. He was taken back and he was appointed there in Hotel Todubida, in a hotel, Sinai Hotel, as the treasurer. For 5 years he served. But on a certain while I was in Trivandrum, I got a phone call. Hello, Father. There is a dead body here in Alway, in a lodge. Your number is there in his diary. What is your relationship with this particular person? I told, I take all the responsibility. Please do the postmortem. I went to Alway. He was taken to Karunalayam, ST convent, they have whatever burial place, and he was buried. You know who is this Varghese? His elder sisters, two boys there, Vijay and Anand Amardaraj Madras, the old tennis players, his own elder sisters, two kids only. What made me to take this risk to chase this man, to go to the bar hotel at night? That means that is the risk. We have to take certain times. And some way or other, this man had a heart attack and he had a normal death, and his own brother, family, all of them came for the burial. Now that's all with regarding these different glimpses of my ministry. And then later on, Father Bishop Susepakim asked me, Father, you are involved in prison ministry, no? Okay, please come to the work among the seashore of Trivandrum side. I told him, once my provincial give me the permission, I am ready. And about 10 years I was there in Trivandrum. And then I work among the coastal area people. We had a dream. All Chettakudil, that means these small huts will become concrete buildings. All those clothes and everything, they will have a better cloth. They will have a proper meal. That was the dream, but it was of no use. After 3 years of retreat, every month about 100 people, fishermen were brought together in the old seminary, minor seminary, where it was vacant, and they were given the retreat. And at last, in Muttatara, the toddy shopmen gave 1 egg free. And all those persons who were taken, who had stopped drinking, were rushing to Muttatara toddy shop because they were given 3 rupees egg free, and we were given 500 rupees retreat free. And I asked Bishop, I am tired, I can't go forward. Then he told me, consoled me, telling the Mother Teresa's word, what is important is not to be successful, but to be faithful. And I told, I am a female being, and I said, no. Then I saw a mental patient eating from the waste bin of Karakutam center, and I just went, catch hold of him, and now I have to take. Then Bishop told me, you make use of the seminary, old seminary, and now at present there are 70 persons in Manbila center. All of them are wandering mental patients. That is another ministry, just an opening. Once we get an opening, then enter into it, then that will become the ministry. Similarly, I order paper news, person, a paraplegia, that is lifelong bedridden with an accident, and he took a knife or sickle, cut himself his leg. And then at the moment he had a fever and told the doctor, if I die, my children and wife will live. And he died. I read it in the newspaper. Now we take care of 60 paraplegia, that means bedridden persons. They were given 2,000 rupees per 2 months. So in the light of what I have shared, what I can tell you is, I am very much obliged to prison ministry or Jesus fraternity. I am a clinician missionary priest. We have got our activities all over India, all over the world. But this sort of ministry, how I come in touch with, that was a moment in my life. That means, that was also in the year 1986. I have got a motorcycle, just a motorcycle. I need a little petrol. In Kutatakulam, I stopped my vehicle, and then I don't know, a person came and written a small 3 lines of poem. Karayana Devata Kando. That means, did you see the God who is crying? Then, Terivil Alayana Devata Kando. Did you see the God who is wandering? Did you see the third one is Orivata Chorna Kaigupidilkuna Vivishana Devata Kando. Did you see the God who is waiting for a piece of bread? The same paper I just catch hold of at the handle of my motorcycle. I was traveling the same day, about 40 kilometers in my hometown, Udumbanur. Same day. Truly, I used to say truly, because the same day at 2 o'clock, there was a person lying at the tar road. Cancer patients with all these worms and wounds. I also had just a glance at him, went home. I told my mummy, there is a person lying at the door, at Udumbanur town. And he told him, you are so sympathetic, take this cloth and let him sleep or let him lie down, that his body may not get burned. Then they took him with the help of a few young men. He was taken, reported to the Karimanur police station and taken to Thodupuza Taluk hospital. And the doctor told, Father, the wounds are so deep. You see the worms. All the patients are going outside the hospital, tomorrow you take him. Now you keep him at the veranda. I don't know what to do. Then I went to SP sisters. Sister, there is a person. You are all sisters of destitutes now. Please take care of. This is a person at the hospital. No one to take care of. That sister told me, we are ready to take, provided 3 conditions are there. One is, that means he must be from the street. Then second, dying person, and he should be a pure orphan. And I told my patient is qualified sister to be admitted. Yes, the sisters were so generous, and he was admitted. And 4th day, Matthias died a peaceful death. I was thinking, if I say no, or if I never heard, that would have remained forever, eternally in my personal life undone. So there was a communion between Matai, who was lying down, and myself. It is the communion. Jesus returned to your prison ministry experience when we meet persons, prisoner, paraplegia, or men at the street, or drunkards, or hired killers. Whenever we meet with the love of Jesus, there is a communion. This is the communion Mother Teresa experienced at Calcutta when a child was being half-eaten by the rats. Mother Teresa, Loreto convent sister, could just pass through the road. What will happen? Nothing will happen. We would have missed Mother Teresa. That is, for eternally, for Mother Teresa, if she was not responding to that particular half-eaten child, that moment would have remained forever undone. Similarly, the person, this Matthew, if I never turned that side, taking rest at that would have remained for eternally undone. My dear prison ministry friends, we will also come across certain moments. Once Mother Teresa was asked by a girl, we are coming to Calcutta for the service to missionary work. Mother Teresa told, you open your eyes. Your mission is in front of you. Open our eyes in front of our monastery, in front of our convent, in front of our church. There is sufficient work, my dear friends. Those who have got work. Those who don't have. Those who have no work, no work. So let us burn with the zeal with which these two seminarian, Father Francis Codian and Father Varghese Kariperi, spend their time before the Blessed Sacrament. Receive the warmth from the Blessed Sacrament. Unless and otherwise we get the communion with the Holy Communion, we will never feel the communion with the downtrodden, poor and needy. This is the communion with which Jesus had when he prayed, Father, just as you and I are one, let this be one. Let this be one. This is the oneness which we experienced in the Holy Eucharist, when we sit before the Blessed Sacrament, when we take penance with some pain. So I conclude. I was just narrating with my crippled language what I have learned, experienced with the prison ministry and prison ministry India. and let the hand of Father Korean and all those collaborate in different parts and nook and corner of India and even the whole world may get united together as one, and let this oneness be our strength. Maybe differences of language, maybe differences of right or the state. Let all these differences may go. Let us be united in Him, with Him, through Him. Thank you, my dear fathers, brothers, and sisters. Thank you. If you have got any question.
Thank you very much, Father Alexander. Thank you very much. Very inspiring, challenging. You put us in trouble because hearing you, we feel that we are nothing. Thank you very much. Very, very powerful. Thank you for the sharing, life witnessing. Now